Okay, everyone. This week, the lecture is about developing a scale. Okay. Developing a scale is not as easy as it seems. There are a lot of processes we need to go through. So I just give you a really brief introduction. First, when I give this face-to-face lecture, I'll give an activity. You can try it if you want. So suppose we need to develop a scale measuring people's shyness. So one example question is, hey, from 1 to 9, and remember, this is the interval question, which is a better question than yes or no, right? So from 1 to 9, 1 means not true at all, 9 means very true. I feel tense when I'm with people I don't know well. Now, how much do you agree with that? Okay, so this is one question, potential question for measuring shyness, right? Now, if you want, you can think of 3 other questions. But anyway, now suppose we have instrument measurement to measure the shyness, and there are 4 questions. Which one do you think is better? Now, the first set is this. I feel tense when I'm with people I don't know well. I'm socially somewhat awkward. I find it difficult to ask other people for information. And finally, I am often uncomfortable at parties and other social functions. Okay, so this is the first set. Now, the second set, you'll find out pretty much the same, except, so number 1 is the same, number 2 is the same. Hey, but number 3 is different. I do not find it difficult to ask other people for information, right? Which is the opposite of this one. And then finally, this is still the same. Now, which set will be better? Will be a better measure for shyness. Right. Actually, this one is not that as good as this one, this set. Why is that? Because this question is a reverse question. Now, in the instrument or in the measurement, you usually need to throw in some reverse question. Now, why is that? If all in one direction, ask you to agree to one direction or disagree to one direction, then the scale becomes less reliable. So, for example, some of you probably heard about this measure called the individualism versus collectivism scale. For decades, the idea of individualism versus collectivism is considered the Bible of measuring cultural differences. Actually, till now, it still is. There's a study in 2002 published, a huge meta-analysis. And this meta-analysis pointed out that those scales actually are not reliable. And why is that? Another study pointed out that because there's no reverse scored question, is one one of the potential problems. You probably will question, well, if in 2002 we already know it's not the best measure already, then why now we still consider it a Bible? It's because culture is a really huge concept. It's hard to define. It's hard to measure. So we haven't come out with a better measure. So we still rely on individualism versus collectivism. But just remember, those scales are not as reliable as we want it to be. Okay. Because let me explain probably a little bit more. If the scale is in one direction, like this one, we find out participants who answer those questions that they tend to inflate their answers. They tend to just score every question like 5 or 1. Tend to become more extreme, agree more or disagree more. So you need to have some reverse question to kind of like balance it. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the scoring of the scale. So for example, there's a question. We say, hey, from 1 to 9, 1 means strongly disagree, 9 is strongly agree. No matter how accomplished he is, a man is not truly complete as a person unless he has a love of a woman. In the disaster, women ought not necessarily to be rescued before men. People are often truly happy in life without being romantically involved with a member of the other sex. That's assuming your heterosexual orientation. Many women have a quality of purity that few men possess. Women should be cherished and protected by men. If you want, I will encourage you to try to answer those questions from 1 to 9. How much do you agree with those statements? All right. But now, I want to ask you, what do you think those 5 questions are measuring? They are actually measuring one, you can say, trait. You want to guess, so what is it measuring? All right, now I tell you the answer. It's called benevolent sexism. Some of you probably will be surprised, say, what? This is sexism? I'm talking about good things about men, about women, right? Why is that sexism? Because if you score high on those skills, that implies you are believing that women are dedicated and incompetent like children, right? So women should be cherished, women should be protected, women are weak, so women should need to be protected. But if there's any important decision to make, well, that's men's job, and that is sexism. Sometimes it's not so easy to swallow. Okay. Anyway, but there are more items like that. If you're interested, contact me for more information. But now, I want to discuss about the scoring of the scale. So suppose we get, I asked some people to answer those questions, and the data is as following. So Mark, he answered 81298. That means question 1, he say 8. Question 2, he say 1, and so on and so forth, right? And Mary answered this, and Molt answered this. So now we need to calculate the scores. What will be the scores? Right? Now a lot of people say, well, this is so easy. Let's just add them up, right? But we need to consider reverse scored items. Okay? What items in these 5 questions are reversed items? Can you guess? All right, it's these 2 questions. Okay. In a disaster, women are not necessary to be rescued before men. Now, people who agree with this statement, they're less sexist in this one as well. Okay. So now, when you calculate the score, you need to consider those as reverse items. In other words, you need to reverse the scores. Now, if the answer is 1, you need to reverse to 9, 2 to 8, 3 to 7, and so on and so forth. So, for example, this is Mark's raw score. Now, you need to reverse it to 1 becomes 9, and 2 becomes 8. And then you add those scores together, right? All right. So, of course, if you add those raw scores together, it's 28. I think it's so 10, 20, 28, right? Now you reverse it and then add them up. Now 8 is not plus 1, is plus 9, right? So it's 17. And then 2 become 8. 17 plus 8 is 25. 25 plus 9 is 34. 34 plus 8 is 42, isn't it? So the answer is 42. Okay, so you can calculate Mary's mode if you want. Alright. So the scoring, however, is tiring if you want to do it and need to do it individually. And supposedly we collect like 100 people's data. Wow, imagine how you're going to do that, right? So we'll resort to Excel. It can help a lot. After you enter the data, Excel can calculate it for you in just split seconds. For this semester, I don't think you need to, get to know that. But if you really conduct studies, then if you're interested, really conduct a study, then I'll teach you how to do that. But for now, just so you know. Alright, so let's stop right here.